Woo!
And we're good.
Hopefully.
Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing?
I'm always suspicious when you say that we're good because usually what happens is we get a message like 30 seconds later that says that our voice is messed up, or I guess our backdrop is kind of looking saggy right now, isn't it?
Yeah, we didn't take it down last time, so it's a little saggy.
It's been a weird last few weeks, Alphas. So hopefully everybody's doing okay. Hopefully everybody got their Etsy refunds for printing labels. For those who
that was a mess.
Yeah, for those who missed the drama this week, Etsy moved a decimal point in your seller fees when you print labels, basically. And I guess when you renewed listings, they did it as well.
I didn't see that.
People were being charged $10,000 when they printed $100 worth of Etsy labels.
Yeah.
And then their Etsy...
That was a silly mistake.
Their Etsy accounts were being suspended because they had insufficient funds, and their credit cards were being completely overdrawn.
Anybody here have that issue? Anybody here get charged a crazy amount for printing labels?
And did you get refunded? Because last we checked with Etsy's news, they were refunding everybody and taking care of everything.
They don't really have a choice but to refund
Well,
people.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry, we stole your money. You can't have it back.
your loss. But anyway, guys, that's kind of the big Etsy news of the week, but we probably won't talk too much about it just because
it's a glitch. Glitches happen. Every website has mistakes, and Etsy's still a small guy. Just remember that.
We agree it shouldn't be happening. It definitely shouldn't be happening, but it happened, and they will hopefully be fixing it. Yep, over $2,000. All good here. Did they even apologize for that? Yeah, they sent an email to everybody who had actually affected. So,
Bruno Planning Co. says over $2,000. Well, that stinks. Sorry that happened to you.
Hopefully you got that back. I can't see anything other than still Starla in a teacup. Well, then you probably can't hear me telling you that the video might be paused. Her video might be paused. Someone tell her video might be paused. And you guys might have noticed we didn't have the Friday bean last week, and I know that freaked a few of you out because I told you that if we didn't have a Friday bean, it most likely meant that my grandma had passed away. We actually thought that she was about to last week. She went into the hospital for kidney failure, and they were going to start dialysis, and she refused because she's already got stomach cancer and she's too weak for chemo. So we thought that was it. We went in to say goodbyes. But they ended up getting her fluids up. She still has refused dialysis and chemo, and she has been transitioned into in-home hospice care so she can die at home surrounded by her baby dolls. She's got lots of baby dolls. So she's okay. I was in the middle of going in and doing all of her DNR requests and final wishes for her funeral and service and stuff last Friday. So in the event that we have another random Friday bean in the near future where I'm not here, or we just don't do it, obviously. Mm-hmm. Mark's not going to do it by himself. Mm-hmm. That's why. So just be aware that there is going to be another upcoming week, possibly 2 weeks, depending on how I'm feeling, where I'm not going to be here. The best place to follow me for updates in the event that this happens, because I'm probably not going to hop on to send a big email, by the way, guys, my grandma died. I don't want to do that. If you guys want to stay updated, the number one place that I post updates is my Instagram account, and that account is Starla, the letter K, and more. So feel free to follow me over there. It's usually where I post to keep everyone updated because I don't add very many business people onto my personal Facebook. We like to keep that. We got pictures of our kid in the bathtub when she was a baby,
Yeah.
Don't want the whole world to see stuff like that. But are you ready to get into...
I'm ready. I need to start drinking this coffee, though. I tell you what.
Man, I'm down to this much because I drink...
haven't even started. Drinking that Project Sunrise again from that local restaurant. supporting, what was it, women business owners?
Yeah.
Women-owned coffee fields.
Yeah, it's on the back.
Yeah.
Got a couple people saying that they can't hear us. I'm here, I
didn't
promise.
see any of those. Where do you see
Why
that?
can't I see any live
That's just
shadow?
Charlie.
Oh.
And she's fixed.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the number one time wasters that I wasted time on when I started my Etsy shop. And ultimately, when it comes to making mistakes on Etsy, or in business in general, or life, I guess. Mistakes are usually the best way that you kind of fumble around until you figure out a new way to do things. Mistakes are usually a positive thing because they are a way for you to learn. But you can still learn from watching someone else's mistakes, right? You can watch, your sibling as a child stick their finger into a light socket, get shocked, and you can decide for yourself, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. That looked like it hurt. So you don't have to be the one making the mistake. It's just when you hear someone else describing their mistakes, it needs to have enough of an impact on you that you make a conscious decision not to repeat that mistake. It's developing new neural pathways by not actually performing the act yourself. So anytime you hear any of these like top mistakes videos, just keep in mind that these are usually from the experiences of the individual, and not all of the things that I'm going to say today will apply to all of you, but I hope that this can help give you some perspective into my personal journey selling jewelry on Etsy, and maybe you can adapt some of these things so that you don't take these time-consuming detours. But some of them will apply to all of you. So, whoa, I'm here live for the first time. Welcome. Okay, looks like everybody's good. All right, so I had to write all these down last night. Mark and I were like, oh, we need 10. 10's a good number. So we were like racking our brains for a nice even number. I think we ended on 8, and then we're scrambling for ideas. So, the first big time-consuming, I wouldn't call it a mistake, it was just a time waster, was trying to accommodate to wholesale orders.
Oh, man.
When I was new and not designed to accommodate wholesale. I would have people who would message me and say, hey, I need 100 of these. And the money is what I was like seeing dangling over my head. Like, oh, this is a big order.
Yeah, we had a couple people like trying to push like contracts at us, like big budget contracts. Like, hey, we'll give you X amount of money to provide us X amount of products for so long.
Yeah.
They ended up just being huge time wasters because our particular style of product doesn't fit.
No, and I'm not saying that you guys shouldn't do wholesale, especially, if it's something that works for your brand,
Right.
If you can mass produce very easily, if you have the ability to endless supplies so that you can make sure that you're creating the exact same things over and over and over again. I'm not saying that wholesale is a bad thing. What I'm saying is that trying to jump into wholesale because you are offered, a lot of money for an order and you don't know if you're going to be able to fill it, that's where things start to get a little bit harder. We were offered 2 big things when we were in California before the handmade alphas. We were offered 2 big projects. One was for a movie called Tinker. It was a steampunk themed movie, and they wanted 100 keys. They wanted the keys for all of the actors to wear, but then they wanted keys for some I think it was the viewing party thing, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Whatever it's called. They wanted 100 steampunk.
The premiere.
Yeah, the premiere. I'm tired. They wanted 100 keys for the premiere and for all of the actors. And I just felt so obligated to do it. I mean, they put my keys on their website. I don't even know if the movie ended up happening because they didn't end up.
Who knows?
They didn't reach their goal. It was like $350,000 goal on Kickstarter.
Movies aren't cheap.
Yeah. But anyway, if you guys want to look it up, maybe let me know in the comments. Just type in steampunk Tinker movie and see if they ended up doing it. But for some reason, I guess when their Kickstarter lapsed because they didn't meet their goal, they had to redo all of the people who were contributing, And I think I ignored their emails on that point. I think I got cold feet and I just ignored their emails and didn't end up
Well, you
responding
started
back.
making a whole bunch of keys, and it ended up just being a huge waste of time.
And then I just sold the keys in my shop and made more money than I would have on the wholesale order. So, and then the second one, I was commissioned for a video game called Amarithian
I don't know.
Amarithian Story, something like that. Very Final Fantasy-esque looking game, where they wanted me to create these very, very ornate keys to represent two of their characters. And I did say yes. I ended up making the two keys for the characters and sent them to the studio or whoever was developing the game. And then they wanted duplicates. And I can't even remember what happened, but I didn't end up fulfilling that full order. Something ended up happening with the game. So
A lot of people talking about how it would just take a long time. How they, Deb, I think, said, tried to get wholesale. I did industry trade shows trying to get in wholesale. 2 years time, effort, trade show fees, totally not worth it. The thing is that wholesale sounds cool because it's like a big budget thing. It's a big lump sum of money, depending on who you go with, I guess. But scalability, especially for the new seller, somebody who's still like perfecting their craft. If you are in an industry that you think fits wholesale,
like Amber Marie.
yeah, if you think you're in an industry that you think fits wholesale, at least wait until your product is in its final form. If you're in your first year or two of business, your product's not done changing yet.
No, probably not.
And like if you want to sell it wholesale at that point and move on and try to perfect it to do whatever else you're selling your product or wherever else you're selling your product, fine. But I would wait until you know what's best for your business, because I think it takes a little while before you're going to really know what's best for your business.
Exactly. Yeah. So don't feel bad about saying no.
No,
you know?
Don't feel bad about saying no, but don't feel obligated to turn down something that sounds great. Just remember that things that usually sound too good to be true usually are.
Yeah, exactly. So the second big thing that I wasted a lot of time on, and I know you guys probably have too, and this was especially popular a few years ago, I would say about 7 years ago, I think that this was the big thing, was ladders, engagement groups, boost games, etc. on Facebook in particular. So I'm not just talking about when people go to your shop and like a bunch of your products. Oh, everybody, let's go like each other's things, which is terrible for your conversion rates. I made a video on this called Dangerous Etsy Games No One Should Play a couple months ago. So go back and watch that if you need to know more about how to avoid playing these games on Etsy. But for Facebook in particular, I joined all of these groups and we would do like round robin giveaways, which were, the round robins are pretty cool if you get in with a bunch of people who are in the same industry as you. So a round robin giveaway is basically when a bunch of artists will create giveaways of their own products, but then they'll all advertise the giveaway as a whole, and your job is to go around in a circle, or the entrance job will go around in a circle, and they'll start with one giveaway, but that giveaway will lead to another giveaway. So it'll be like, okay, now for your next entry, go to this giveaway, and then you'll go to that giveaway, and then their stipulation will be that you have to go to the other giveaway, and you get all the way back around to the first person that you entered, and then you've gone all the way around the circle. So that's a round robin giveaway. Those can be effective when you are with creators who are within a niche. That way you're keeping the target audience the same. But there are these groups that are just designed to have people engage with your page. This was really popular back when Facebook first started making you boost posts and pay for promotions in order to get visibility in the news feed. That came as a huge shocker to everybody because they thought that everyone who liked their Facebook page would see their content, which is how it used to be. But now, only about, last we checked, it was 15% of people who like your page see your content, but I think that now
I think it's less.
I think it's less now. And it might be completely completely audience size dependent as well.
Yeah, and algorithm stuff has been changing too, so there might be other factors other than just that play into it, like actual interaction, how many people interact with your stuff.
Well, yeah, and those users who do interact get more from your page, like they see it more. But what these groups that I'm talking about did, because it is good for your followers to engage with your content, because
Absolutely.
therefore they're going to see more of it. You want them to like and comment on your things. But what these groups would do, or these pages that you could join would do, is they would send a bunch of people to like your Facebook page and engage with your posts. But it would only happen as long as you were active in the group. So you make a post in one of these groups and say, hey, can everyone go give me some boosts? Give me some boosts. And then everyone would run and like your page, and they would go and, engage with some of your posts. But then they would go away. They wouldn't just stay there to do that for you all the time. They would go away until the next time you got in that group and said, hey, can everybody go back to my page? And it was constant work. You had to work to get people to engage with your content who weren't interested in buying your product in the first place. So big waste of time. There's still a lot of these pages. For example, there's one called Hike Those Likes. And there's one for every country. So there's like Hike Those Likes America and Hike Those Likes Australia. And it's just the same stupid stuff that doesn't work. And I just don't understand why pages still promote this. It's been proven time and time again that this does not work for business. But I don't know. Basically, ladders, anywhere where you're going and liking a bunch of pages or asking people to like your page. Those things aren't going to give you a bunch of people who are within your target audience who are actually interested in your products. You're just going to end up with inflated numbers. And then if only, a small percentage of the people who like your page see your content, and then over half of the people who have liked your page don't want to buy your products anyway, then it doesn't matter how many followers you have at that point. It would be better to have a smaller audience of engaged fans rather than a giant audience of people who don't give a crap about you. So, do we have any questions?
Yeah, that was a long one. I was spacing out there for a minute. I was gone. Is it bad for you to publicize your new listings in tons of Facebook groups to drive some traffic there?
I wouldn't do that. Not the way that you're describing it. If you're, there are some Facebook groups that I think are great for posting products in. But I don't think that... Okay, so for example, I'm a member of a group called Fantasy Art Adoption Group. Fantasy Creatures Adoption Group. And they do... Anybody who makes, like, artistic fantasy dolls and plushies and sculptures of, like, dragons and creatures and things. This group is just full of people who are obsessed with that stuff. Like they want to buy that type of thing. And a lot of the people who are in the group are creators who also want to buy that type of thing from other creators because they think they're so cool. That would be a group where I would say, yeah, when you have a new product, don't post just your Etsy link. Don't just post the link and then have the thumbnail populate. Take your own really cool photo or a really cool video of the product and then post the link in the description to that product. But don't just throw up, a link and say, check this out, check this out. Nobody cares about that. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see you throwing up an Etsy link. Make sure that you actually upload something that's unique and worth looking at. Not just putting your link and letting the thumbnail auto-populate. So that would be an exception. But you have to find what is that group for you. And it might not necessarily be an Etsy promotion group. There's a bunch of those. Who's really shopping on those? Who's going into an Etsy promotion group? That's like every single target audience, into one giant pot of alphabetical ABC alphabetical soup. Alphabet soup.
It's mostly sellers.
It is. It's all sellers.
It's the customers that are in those kind of places are more often than not going to be the people that you want to be consistent customers of yours. They're obsessive. They're looking for exactly what they want. They're so desperate that they've joined a group for Etsy sellers.
To ask like an ISO post or something.
So you got to be careful with those kind of people. That's a good way to get a bad review.
You need to find a group that's focused around not what you sell, but who you sell to. So for me, I sell fantasy-themed skeleton key necklaces. We need to hang this back up on your thing. Fantasy-themed skeleton...
Stole it.
I did steal it. I needed it for an example. I sell fantasy-themed skeleton key necklaces. So I joined, when I was growing, I joined groups that were like, gothic... I think I joined a group just called Gothic.
Mm-hmm.
or a bunch of just random fantasy groups. Things that, I could say, hey, look what I made, and then post a cool photo. And, sometimes I would put the link to buy it in there, but sometimes I would just say, look what I made, and I would wait. It's like casting your fishing line, just waiting for someone to bite, because it's inevitable that someone will comment and say, wow, do you sell these? Wow, where can I buy this? Wow, how much is this? Oh, I actually do sell them. Here's a link to my Etsy shop. And then, a lot of the times this is the best way to not break rules about advertising in some of the groups. If you just say, look what I made, and then someone asks you, where they can find it. So I'm not saying to go break anybody's group rules, but I mean, in all actuality, what's the consequence of breaking a group rule?
Get kicked out of a group. It's Facebook. There are literally billions of people on Facebook, which means there are millions of groups.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't. You're not going to get your account banned from a group if you didn't know, what the rules were, and you posted something like promotional.
Don't quote us on that. Some page owners are jackasses.
Yeah, well, there's nothing that they can do to you, though. They might
just ban you from their group.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. You said they won't.
I'm saying
I was correcting that.
No, I'm saying you won't get banned from Facebook.
Okay.
For doing
I didn't want people to misunderstand that then.
No.
Ellen asked if it was in 2013, Tinker, the steampunk series.
That sounds right.
Sounds about right. Maybe they turned it into a series just because they couldn't get the full funding for a full budget movie. Series are kind of cheaper.
Yeah. That sounds about right, 2013. So.
Who knows?
All right, so we talked about light games. Man, we got to get moving. I'm only on number 3. Number 3, this one is shorter. I used a program. Oh, I can't even remember who recommended it. A couple years ago, I used a program for my Art by Starla Instagram account where basically I paid $7 a month for this thing called RoboLike. And I would enter all of the hashtags that I, wanted to, that were related to my target market. I did like tattoo girls and Celtic art and fantasy and dragon and dragons and wolves and wolf and, just Harry Potter and anything fantasy themed that I could think of for hashtags, right? And I entered them into RoboLike, and then my Instagram account would like 100 posts per second that used one of those hashtags. So if somebody was like reading hashtag Harry Potter on a Sunday, my account would like that post. And the result was I got a lot of people to follow me. I got a whole lot of people to follow my account doing that, paying the $7. I did end up having my account, I would have to verify my account like weekly because it would lock me out of it because I think my Instagram knew that something sketchy was going on.
That'd probably be harder to get away with nowadays since systems are a little better.
Yeah, so it did come with that little disclaimer that I probably would have gotten in trouble, eventually.
Yeah, like that was the only bad thing that resulted from
that.
No,
I'm getting to that. That was not the only bad thing. Because the way I'm describing it, you guys are probably like, oh, that sounds great. No. So I used all hashtags that I thought made sense, right? Viking guys, Celtic models, fantasy models, just random things, thinking about the people, like who would wear my jewelry. I'm thinking about, people who are into dragons and covered in tattoos and gothic and whatever. what I ended up with were my DMs, my direct messages on Instagram, full of appendages.
Eggplants.
Egg.
Yep. Inbox full of eggplants.
My
And melons.
So, what I didn't know was that for every single person or every single time that someone with a porn account, which you're not supposed to have those, but they do exist, anybody with an account that was adult, subject matter, whatever, if they used one of those hashtags, not just in their original post, but if it was in the comments of that post, my account would like their photos.
Yep.
And they thought that that meant that I would like, in return, them to message me. I cannot describe to you the year that we had getting rid of Robo-like. Like, it was a constant...
Having to go through and unlike literally hundreds and
manually
hundreds of pictures.
It was insane. So, that, you know what? I got a lot of fans from Robo-like. I didn't want all of them. I didn't want them. I have people on there, you know, now that I haven't used Robo-like in like 3 years, I'm assuming that all the ones who didn't follow me for good reason don't see my content anymore anyways because they don't engage with it. I have a great audience pool on there now, but at that time, it was like I had completely, like, it's like you get yourself a nice glass of Kool-Aid and then you just, like, pour an entire gallon of water on top of it. Like, you know, you've got a little bit of flavor in there, but mostly all you have is just crap that doesn't help your growth at all. So, you guys
like
are...
eggplants.
Oh, there's a bunch of people. Let's see. Oh, no, that's such a big mistake.
Yeah. I mean, we still get those. We still get the occasional eggplant or melon in the inbox, but that's just because it's the internet.
I get just as many girls who hit on me on my Art by Starla Instagram. You got to consider that my target market is, you know, that kind of tattooed up fantasy.
Yeah.
And Instagram, my target audience is actually really young, even though my primary customers are older. It's weird how that works out, but yeah. All right. So no Robo-like, guys. Stay away from Robo-like. I don't even know if it's still a thing.
Any automatic liking software, just stay
away
from it.
No bots. Don't be a bot.
No bots.
Yeah. That was
be real.
It sounded too good to be true, and it really was. Okay, so the fourth big time waster was listening to sellers who weren't already where I wanted to be. So I was in this little thing on my last military base called the Tranquil Networking Group. Do you remember the Tranquil?
I remember the Tranquil Networking Group.
The Tranquil Networking. It
was awful.
Yeah, and we met in person. We started out as a Facebook group, and then we started meeting in person. It was a group of people who sold things. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just handmade things. It was like Tupperware and Mary Kay. And then there was me selling jewelry. And my next door neighbor who made soap was there. And it was just a weird combination of handmade things and MLMs. And we would all get together and talk about strategies. But I mean, I see the same thing in normal Facebook groups as well, where people will talk strategies and, oh, try this. Oh, I heard this works. Oh, I'm doing this. But then that person is way below like where you already are or where you want to be. And they're trying to tell you how to run your business or what to do or what would get you more followers if you did. Tune those people out. I mean, they're when it comes to taking advice, it is never a bad idea to take constructive criticism if you're hearing it from more than just one person, I guess you could say. or if it's something that should be acknowledged, like maybe you created something that is like offensive in some way, and
It happens.
you don't realize it. We've seen that a couple times.
It happens. The cultural barriers and
Right.
just misunderstandings or perceptions that you might have never heard. I mean, that's normal. There's so many different ways to offend people nowadays. It's easy to not know that something was offensive to begin with.
Right, exactly. And and it also has to do with where you like grew up. For example, I grew up in Ohio. We have corn
We have corn.
and cows and
Ohio.
corn
We have corn.
and cows
And cows.
and factories, and that's
Summer here smells awful.
yeah. So I went to school with people who had corn and cows, and their parents worked in factories, and still it's all corn and cows and people that work in factories. And at that time we didn't have the internet as our playing field, so
No one was offended by anything.
I had no idea, or I was surprised when I saw an argument on Facebook, I would say about 7 years ago, where someone was creating an Etsy shop and they had called it Gypsy something. And a bunch of people were blowing up on this girl, and the girl had no idea. She was like in the same boat as me. I didn't understand that it was an offensive term, because I'd heard it in reference to like, when my perception of gypsies were like still even in California we had what we called the little wandering gypsies that would walk around still in their cute little belly shirts and things, and they would walk around just barefoot, no home, because they wanted to. They were just really whimsical. But I didn't have any idea about the background and how the term could be offensive. So it's one of those things where, if someone brings something to your attention that you just didn't realize because of maybe where you were in the world, or your upbringing, or you had just never heard a term used in a negative way, be open-minded enough to consider that the way that you've seen the world for, however old you are, that maybe you grew up in a place where you couldn't have possibly seen the hardship that someone else faced from that term. So
also, I do want to kind of comment as well. Obviously, sensitivity is something that you need to keep in mind as a business owner. You need to try not to offend people, but at the same time, don't over appease to microaggressions that people have.
People will have a reason to get mad at anything.
Small niche things that people get offended by, and they're probably the only person within a 100-mile radius that could possibly get offended by that. You know what I'm talking about.
Like maybe
you can't even come up with an example for it because they're usually so dumb.
I've got one. I saw.
But let me hold on a minute. But don't be purposefully offensive to the person or overly defensive against the person. If you can just, depending on where they're coming from, I would just block them, delete them from whatever they're doing. If it's on your Etsy shop, I would just ignore them, and if they continue, then report them. But yeah, don't appease to people's microaggressions.
Yeah, I saw somebody in a Etsy group. They posted like a farm fresh eggs like kitchen sign. Like it was just a cute sign. It had like a chicken on it, and someone commented about being a vegan and how disgusting their sign was promoting eating eggs and about the corruption of the poultry industry. And I was like,
especially that's a big one, lifestyle choices, because everybody's got a different lifestyle choice now. People are vegan or vegetarian,
which is great. That's great.
People are doing like keto as a lifestyle choice now, which I'm not even going to get into that. But yeah, just ignore that stuff, because if it's not your life choice, then it's none of their business.
Yeah.
And if it is, it's also none of their business.
Back to where we were, listening to sellers.
It's important. It's important.
That's true.
That's also listening to people who don't know what the hell they're talking about.
That's just across the grid. Don't listen to people who don't know what they're talking about. Hopefully we're not some of those people.
I mean, we have people in here that know more than we do,
absolutely.
but the reason that we don't make more through Etsy is because we don't put our time into it anymore.
Yeah.
At the time when we reached the peak, we were at the peak, and we still kind of, for our particular niche, we're at a glass ceiling. It's not that we can't do better. It's just that we choose to put our effort here because you guys are awesome.
Well, not only that, but I would have to... I'm not in the position where I want to hire people for Art by Starla more and start a big outsourcing process to grow that. You know, I'm really happy with what I've done with it, and I'm going to keep doing it. And I'm about to have a fall launch that you guys are all going to be invited to if you want to watch it live. It's a pretty cool thing to watch products sell out in like 30 seconds.
It's just as cool surviving on the Etsy stuff and through the alphas when we can, but it's also just as nice giving you guys information and watching you all succeed based on the information that we're providing to you.
That's insane.
Which we see a lot. A lot of people succeed, some people don't, but a lot of people do. So
yeah, if you've like feel that you have succeeded in something Etsy related because of content that we've posted, give us like a little, I don't know what, a wolf emoji in the chat, so we makes us feel good, makes us smile. That's like our little boost for the day. All right, so number 5. No, I think we're right at 12:39. We're not doing too bad. Trying to apply business models and marketing that did not pertain to my niche. So this was a big one because I would try to like apply these really weird marketing photos, and if you go on my Facebook page, my Art by Starla Moore Facebook page, you'll see some examples of that where I would create like these images. I think I did one called like an fudge sale where I needed to get rid of inventory for something. I can't remember, but I called it an fudge sale, and I put like all of my fantasy themed keys in a flat lay style image with pictures of fudge and candy and stuff.
I think I remember that.
And then I also did like Halloween ones where I would put like my keys with Halloween candy. And I mean, the pictures looked okay. There was nothing wrong with the photos in terms of flat lays. They looked fine. But do you guys think of Halloween candy when you think of fantasy skeleton keys? Probably not. So I was taking these marketing tactics that I was seeing that were working with other things, like, you know, maybe a different type of jewelry or a different product entirely. And I was trying to replicate that for my style until I realized that that doesn't fit what I'm selling. That doesn't fit my target audience. The photos look good, but it's just not, it's too weird. It doesn't make any sense. So, oh, look at all of our wolves and a kitty.
know.
Yeah, but it just didn't make sense for my particular type of product and my niche and my target audience. So this is one of those things where you have to look really inward because no one can do it for you. And this was a mistake that I was making not that long ago. So you have to look inward at your products and your target market and decide for yourself what type of marketing really creates not just an aesthetic, like the way that it looks, but the feeling that you want to create within your audience. Because for me, putting all of my fantasy, like dragon themed skeleton keys around, you know, Skittles and M&Ms, it didn't create a feeling. Sure, it might look like a cool photo, but it's not creating the awe and the mystery and the you know, magic that I really want to inspire with my audience, as opposed to some of my more recent marketing photos, which once again, you guys can follow me on Instagram. I think that my Instagram for Art by Starla Moore is just Art by Starla Moore. Yeah. So
yeah,
feel free to follow me there as well. To take a look at some of my marketing photos. So, wow.
Find that brand personality, yo.
Exactly.
Because, like, it's not just what... Like, your personality isn't what you look like. You need to build that reputation. Build up the business. Build up the look. Build up every aspect of it until the identity really starts to leak through.
Yeah, it's almost like you... And it doesn't need to be 100% authentic you. It can be a persona that you create that you just use on the internet, you know? It doesn't even... If you know that you're more of a... I don't know, an introverted person who doesn't really like to be outward, create more of a persona. create kind of like a character that you can put on.
Have the business be the persona that you can't be. Look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk is like the biggest nerd on the planet. He's the biggest dork. He's also married to a pop star, has 4 kids, and owns a space company. So just use your business to be who you can't be if you have to.
Yeah, I think that that's the best advice that... And don't feel like you have to be that person all the time.
No.
I think
your business can also just be you.
what's really funny is I will occasionally run into alphas. It's happened on the streets, not on the streets, but in stores and things. I'll run into an alpha. I have one who lives actually right down the street from me.
Mm-hmm.
I've ran into an alpha who worked at a Starbucks who recognized me. I've had it happen a few times. And I think that they think I'm going to be a completely different person when they meet me. Some of my alphas have met me at live events where I've kind of gamed myself up a little bit. But if you meet me out in my habitat, just being myself, especially if I'm alone, I'm not at all who I am on the internet or at a live event, especially if I'm by myself. I am a completely different person. And if you catch me off guard, I will most likely be very uncomfortable because I'm not ready for that. I've been snapped out of my everyday life and thrown into a business situation. So it's almost like it's an on and off switch, and just understanding, when you can turn it on and off. That wasn't even related to the question, was it?
Sorry.
That's okay. Making everything that my fans asked for is number 6.
Yeah, don't do that.
Taking every request. Oh, it would be cool if you made this. Oh, you should make earrings. You should make charm bracelets. You should make keychains. You should make bookmarks. Oh, you make keys. You know what goes with keys? You should make locks. You could make lock necklaces and lock and key sets and da 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 da. And there's comes a point when you just have to say no. You have to be able to say no. That's not the vision that I want for what I do. I create this. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't expand out, or if you have a lot of requests for something that you shouldn't consider expanding out to it, but you cannot take every request seriously. I'm sure you guys have already heard my football key story, but I will repeat it again. I had someone tell me that it would be so cool if I made football themed skeleton keys, because they would buy them and they would tell all their friends to buy them. And I thought, okay, so for fall, I'll make football player keys. I won't put any colors that could be connected to a team. I don't want to get in trouble or market them in a way that could get me in trouble. But what I'll do is I'll let them pick whatever color gemstone they want. And if they want to customize it based on a team that they like, or maybe their kid plays football, they can do their kid's birthstone. That's perfect. To date, we've sold like 3 of these keys, and we released them, I think, 4 years ago now. And they're still in my shop. They are completely opposite of what my target market wants to buy. But because one person begged me for them, they're still in there. And to be honest, I've only left them in there because I like to bring up this story.
It's an example, yeah.
Yeah,
so people don't think we're lying.
I leave them in there just so you guys can go see these keys and say for yourself, wow, these are hideous, because they are.
The customer isn't always right.
I don't like sports. I don't like sports at all. He doesn't like sports.
Nope.
We don't have any idea of like who played the Super Bowl last year.
I don't know. What kind of soup did they serve?
I don't know. See, we don't know. We have no idea. We don't know.
We're not that ignorant, but no, I don't know who was at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But I don't care about sports.
Yeah. So
I don't have time for sports.
No. Okay, taking custom orders and custom requests when I didn't actually need to. Now, that's not to say that I haven't made a lot of sales from custom requests. In fact, a lot of people will look at my shop and see my number of sales and assume that that's the number of sales that I've made, when in reality, I took all of my custom requests through Facebook, even the ones that were wholesale requests where I had to make like 100 keys, and those were invoiced via PayPal, not through my Etsy shop. So, custom requests, when I first started out, I made most of my sales through custom requests, and that was really nice. But then as I started getting more busy, I realized that the time it took me to correspond with the customer, mock up a design, order the supplies that I needed, create the design, modify the design, communicate with the customer, back and forth, yada yada. I could have made 100, little keys that I could have sold for triple what I made on the singular sale of that one key. And it ended up being such a huge time waster in the long run. And like I said, I'm not saying that you guys shouldn't take custom orders. I'm saying that there comes a point when you will realize, or you will hopefully hit a point where custom orders are not something that you need in order to sustain your business. And when they start to get more in the way of your workflow than they do, in terms of bringing income into your business, that is the point when it's okay to say, I'm not going to do these anymore. My audience...
Or at least just start backing down.
Exactly.
Having a quota, going from like, I'll just do all these to like, I'm going to do like 10 of these a week or 10 of these a month. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I haven't taken a custom request in... I can't even remember. It's been like, 3 or 4 years now, right? I quit taking them. And we still... How many emails do you think we get a month? 5 or 6?
We've quelled them pretty good. We get 5 or 6 of them a month, I'd say. Maybe.
Yeah. We get a swipe file, they get a swipe file.
Yeah,
so,
Samantha made a good point. I hate Facebook orders for the same reason. 50 million messages for one order. See, that's the thing.
Exactly.
Some people are okay at describing what they want. Some people absolutely suck at describing anything and have no idea how to talk like a human being. So you end up getting stuck with people that have a really good idea but have zero way to articulate what they're wanting you to do.
Yeah.
Or they're articulating things that aren't possible for you to do with your style of product.
Although I've also gotten some really new good design ideas from custom orders. Now that's true, but at the same time, if you are pricing high for a custom order and then you remake that product and then you don't charge the custom order price and you end up just relisting that exact same product at a lower price because custom orders should cost more, that's where things might get tricky because that customer might feel really offended that cheated, or they might be upset that you created a custom order for them and then
they wanted it to be one of a kind,
and then you went and replicated it. So just be aware that it happens.
I'm always a big proponent of people, if you do a custom design and it ends up being something you want to sell in your shop, asking the person that requested it if it's okay. Because a lot of the times when you get something custom made, it's because you want it to be one of a kind.
Yeah.
Specifically because you want it to be one of a kind. If it's for a spouse, and the spouse is like, oh, I'm going to go check out this person's shop, see what else they have. And then they see the same thing listed that their spouse told them was one of a kind. Just a courtesy thing. You don't have to if it's in like your policies or something, but it's a courtesy thing. I would always ask the customer. Unless it's just like a personalized product of something you already made, then... whatever.
Okay.
Next.
Number 8. This is my least favorite, but I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Giving away free products for charities or, whatever out of guilt because someone messaged you. I've had people message me for charities, for schools that weren't local to me. Like, I'm in Ohio and I'll have someone email me like, my child's school in Arizona is having a bake sale social and we need raffle items. Would you be willing to donate? Like, I don't know anything about your kid's school. I have a kid who goes to school. It's like just random things. We had a lot. The Air Force was really bad about this because I was like the talented weirdo on our base, and anytime there was some big Air Force function, they wanted me to make an Air Force key for them to give away. And I guess in the long run, I ended up getting coined for it, which is not something that spouses get, might I add.
Not often, at least.
His commander came to our door. I remember I like answered the door with no bra on, and I was just like in a long t-shirt. I had like little shorts on, but you couldn't see them because they were so short because the shirt was long and it looked like I had no pants on. He was at work and the commander knocks on the door. And normally, like, you got to answer the door. What if he's dead, you know? I had to answer the door. No, it's the commander, and he came and coined me, which is like a... Well, how would you describe being coined? It's not really an award. It's like a ceremonial...
Yeah, it's like a... I don't know. Yeah, we've got a few of them. I got coined a few times too.
It's like getting a little... It's like an honor. It's just a little honorary thing. But anyway, yeah, so just, you know, my suggestion is donate product or money directly from your business to a charity that you feel passionate about. And if someone messages you and asks to donate, tell them that you have a specific amount of money or products allotted to donate every year, and you already have all of the charities lined up for the year. That's what I do. It's the nicest way to do it. I know that it can feel really like mean or bitter, especially if someone's like, oh, you know, I have cancer. But at the same time, you cannot help everyone. You cannot help everyone as much as you want to help everyone. It's really hard for us empathetic types to even think about denying someone your help. But if you were to take every single request, you would never ever turn a profit, because there are so many people who will message, you know, they'll message 600 pages just to see who responds. And in the grand scheme of things, they might not ever even realize, you know, or remember that you were one of the pages that they messaged. So you might just be one of many copy and paste messages. So don't feel bad about it. It happens to everybody. And I wasted a lot of time making just products for organizations and different things that, you know, sometimes it led to good publicity, but most of the time it didn't help my business. So.
And there's nothing wrong with charity.
No.
Just donate to charities that you want to donate to.
Yeah.
We donate to a bunch of charities.
Yeah, and there were charities that he donates to the Planetary Society because he's a space nerd. Like, he's a
big nerd, huge nerd,
huge space nerd. And I donate to the Wolf Conservation Center of South Salem, New York, because I am a wolf nerd. So I'm obsessed with wolf conservation. Did you know that the red wolf species in the United States is about to completely go extinct? I think there's 12 wolves left in the wild. So those are the things that I'm really passionate about. All right, so let's move on to number 9, which is trying to reinvent the wheel rather than sticking to what works. What I mean by this is I can remember sitting in my office trying to think of new strategies, all new strategies. How can I create something new? How can I create a new type of marketing or a new type of campaign? Rather, and that's what I spent a majority of my time doing, rather than analyzing my own results, looking at the things that have worked well for me in the past, doing that thing over and over again a majority of the time, and then sprinkling in the experiments. What I was doing was experimenting 90% of the time, and then, you know, doing what I knew to work about 10% of the time. That should never be the case. When you're experimenting with a new strategy, that should be a small batch test. It should not be like all or nothing when it comes to experimenting, because if that doesn't work, then where does that leave, you know, your income for that month, or, you know, hopefully not a long period of time if you're doing some huge test on, you know, some type of marketing campaign, or maybe you find a new way to photograph your product. There's just so many things that can go wrong. So what I recommend doing is making sure that you stick to the things that you know have worked in the past, even if you're afraid that, you know, maybe this is going to feel overdone, or my audience is sick of seeing this. Odds are, when it comes to especially Facebook pages, your audience isn't going to remember that you're doing something super similar. Or if you are doing something similar within your marketing, but you're just changing up the product, then they're going to see it as a cohesive factor and recognize, whatever the element is. Maybe it's like a prop that you use or a setting or something. They're going to see it more as something that contributes to your overall brand. For example, using maybe like a similar background or a similar, overlay on your photos. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. If you see that one particular style of photos has gotten a lot of likes, do that over and over again. For me, I take all different pictures with my keys, but what I've noticed gets the most engagement is when I have my hand like this with all different keys laying out on my hand.
They love it.
And I take a picture like this. If I do all the same key, it usually doesn't get as many likes unless I change them up, like the stone color on all the keys are different or something. That gets a lot of likes. But I think it's that people like to sit and look at that photo and look at all the variety. And whether that variety is just based on color or based on, different types of keys. That just tends to be the photo that does the very best. And you guys can go to my Instagram and look at that for yourselves, because those are the photos that get the most likes and engagement on my own feed. So that's the thing that I know works. And I've been doing it for years. I would say since I started my key business, I've been taking photos like that because they work. And I always, if I'm stuck for an idea for a photo, I always go back to that because I know that that's the thing that's always going to work. So
Shirley said, or a little gray pebble.
Yes, I have my little gray pebble.
You want to know a little secret? That pebble's not gray. The pebble's not gray, it's brown.
Yeah, it's grayish brown.
It's brown. It's just straight up brown. It's not grayish brown. It's a straight up brown rock. And I edit it and make it gray.
You only say that because you have to edit the color out.
Every single picture. It is the most annoying thing that I have to do because she can't just find a gray pebble.
I've been using that same pebble to stage my photos for years. I'm not changing it up.
We could dye that pebble gray.
No, I'm not.
We should dye the pebble.
No, it's my special pebble. I've had that pebble since California.
Post eggplants in the chat if you want her to dye the pebble gray.
We're not dyeing the pebble.
Don't post eggplants in the chat. You might actually get in trouble for doing that too many times.
All right, we're on to the last one. It is feeling like you need to market on every single... Welfare gang in here, babe.
Yeah, welfare gang. Peace. Oot.
Anyway, all right. Feeling like you need to market on every single social media platform. Guess what? You don't. I had everything for Art by Starla Moore. I have a Tumblr. I have a Twitter. I have an Instagram. I had a Snapchat. I had a Facebook page. I have a Facebook group. I have a DeviantArt account, which DeviantArt actually has done pretty well for me. I have this YouTube used to be Art by Starla Moore YouTube. In fact, if you scroll way, way, way down, way all the way to the end of my YouTube stream, you'll find where all my old key videos are in here. What else do I have? Oh, I had a Vero account.
Yeah, Vero.
What else did I have?
That's another big time waster. Don't bother yourself with social media platforms until they grow into a social media platform.
Vero did well for a little while, and then it's like
it had like a few thousand users.
And then people kind of forgot about it. But anyway, I used all these different social media platforms, and then I realized, for one, my target audience wasn't on all of them. For two, in order to spread my time for all of these social media platforms, it's almost like I could just spend that time really perfecting one platform. So what I eventually ended up doing, Pinterest, so 10 total. I ended up really focusing my time into 3 primary platforms. Now I think I have 4. I use Facebook in my group, my Instagram, my Pinterest, and I was going to say one more. DeviantArt. Those are the main websites that I use for Art by Starla Moore. And I think that the number one thing that I've done is I've really focused my time into creating content that can be cross-posted onto multiple platforms rather than focusing so hard on creating unique content, which is a lot of the times that's what you do need to do in order to make a particular post succeed, because posts that perform well on Facebook vary from posts that perform well on Pinterest, for example. On Pinterest, you can have a longer photo, and on Facebook, it's optimal to have a perfectly square photo. So there are a lot of different little things that are inconsistent there that, make it hard to cross post. But I always make it a point when I'm editing my photos to create a version or create my photos in a way that they can be cropped square for Facebook and Instagram, but there's like a full version of the photo that I can pin on Pinterest and add to my DeviantArt account, for example. So that is kind of how I've navigated around it. I try to really think about how the content I create is going to affect the different platforms I use. For example, Facebook doesn't like it when you have text on photos.
No, they hate it.
Yep. Instagram doesn't really like it when you have text on photos. Pinterest loves it when you have text on photos. Pinterest has no issues with text on photos. So it just kind of makes it hard. And you have to decide for yourself if you want to create different content for the platforms that you're on to really appeal to the structure of that platform. Like, for example, Facebook not liking a bunch of text on photos. Or if you want to create content that can be universal to all the platforms, which tends to be the most time saving, but it takes a little bit more thought. And that's what I personally do, is I try to create content that can be used on more than one platform that doesn't really offend any of the algorithms, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and get started. And with questions.
It's already over 1.
Yeah, we'll get a couple questions in.
There really haven't been a whole lot.
What is it about photography? Oh,
we're gonna go back a little bit.
Okay,
we'll get to that. I'm not gonna go back super far because I do have things to do today.
It is Friday.
Magically Eclectic asks, what about making enough changes where the one-of-a-kind item is different enough where it's not really noticed, and having that to send to a customer that asks for the one-of-a-kind? I'm assuming for the custom orders.
So if you mean like if you create a custom order and it's one of a kind, but then you want to make something similar to add to your Etsy shop, so you change it up. I've done that before. I did have one person message me to say I thought my key was one of a kind, and I messaged them and I said, the key that I created is not identical to the one that I made for you. See the differences here, here, and here. And it's only happened once, and she even said, I'm not upset. I just thought that my key was one of a kind. It's really up to you. You have to decide what the morals of your shop are going to be. And I would be clear with your customers if you plan to remake the product.
And that one was, what is it about photographing a product in your hand? We don't
No
know.
idea.
People just like it. I don't know.
I think it makes...
With our particular people.
Yeah, I think it makes the product seem more realistic to the person. Especially since mine are skeleton keys. They're very tangible. A key is meant to be in your hands. So I think that it's just one of those things where it's almost like pick your door. It gives that type of message, like which door will you open with these keys.
Deb said DA is still a thing. I haven't logged into my DA account in years.
Yes, DeviantArt is still a thing.
DeviantArt's still there, and Rule 34 is in full force. Furry stuff.
Oh yeah.
Facebook versus Instagram, which one's better? Neither.
Yeah, neither one is better. It's all about your niche and where your target audience is hanging out. You've got to analyze what is the primary age demographic of the audience that you want to appeal to? Where are they hanging out? What type of photos do they respond to best? And then you need to see which platform is going to support what you're creating. You're going to find success on either one, so you just have to really harness the power of the platform.
Last Friday, you guys advised me to focus to my target audience, sustainable and eco-friendly people. I also noticed that my audience are women between ages 35 and 55. Thanks for your advice.
Awesome. Was that it?
We really didn't have a lot of questions. There were a few that were kind of backed up way at the beginning. people
Tranquil is not so tranquil.
talking about fanny packs. You guys don't like fanny packs?
They're called bum bags over there. We still call them fanny packs over here. Apparently that's not...
Lady garden.
What?
Over here, it's your lady garden.
Oh.
Fanny is your lady garden.
Oh.
You didn't know that?
I've never heard the term lady garden.
Yeah, front butt. Yeah, okay. Fanny's a butt here.
Could you,
I'm looking for questions. There's just people talking about eggplants and stuff where I'm at right now. Just hold on.
Why does this always happen at the end of our streams?
We're both so friggin' tired.
Sally said, seems like they shadow ban a lot more now. Yeah, for those who don't know, shadow banning is basically you get banned for certain hashtags, and some of them aren't bad hashtags. So there's a shadow ban tool. Handmade Alpha Academy students, you guys can find the shadow ban tool in the resources guide within the bonuses vault. I can't remember the name of it. So for anybody else, all you have to do is Google Instagram hashtag shadow ban tool, and you can see which hashtags you shouldn't use because they've been shadow banned. Let's see. Roughed Up Designs, I've been working on an SEO discovery. I will be letting everyone know in the Alpha Facebook group today. Before you do that, actually, I prefer that if you guys think that you've discovered something SEO related, that you don't post it in the Facebook group, because just because something worked for you and you think you found a discovery, it is not good for the community to all go copy what you did if what you did is due to something, you know, like your personal listing quality score. I would prefer if you would email me personally and let me know what it is that you discovered. I really discourage, you know, SEO theories being posted in the group without me being able to verify. So please don't post your strategy in the group. I will most likely delete it. Please.
I've been working with Pam.
Okay.
That's still fine.
Yeah. Can you still message me personally at Starla@handmadealphaacademy.com? That's the email address. Starla@handmadealphaacademy.com. I'm not saying that I doubt you, because I do work with Pam personally at eRank, but please let me verify and look over it before you post your findings in the group. That's all that I ask. Okay.
What are some ways to stand out when you're in a fairly saturated niche?
Look at what your competitors are doing in terms of the saturated niche, and try to do something within your marketing or your branding that is different than what anybody else is doing. For example, one of our newer alphas, I won't say her name because I'm not sure if she wants us to advertise her shop or anything, but for example, she creates candles, and there are a lot of candles out there, right? There are tons of candles. Thousands and thousands of Etsy sellers make candles. She makes candles in the shapes of naked ladies, and that's freaking cool. She did something super unique, and she was just featured in a major publication for her super cool candles. She doesn't just do that. She does a lot of other really cool candles, but it's just interesting, you know, that she was able to say, okay, candles are very basic. Let's do something different. Let's do the same thing, but do it in a way that nobody else is doing it. It's called being the purple cow, and it's one of the big things that we teach in Handmade Alpha Academy. It's standing out in the herd and being absolutely remarkable to the point where people remark about you. That's what you want. You want people to remark about you. And if you cannot cause someone to remark about what you're doing, then it's not remarkable enough. So how can you be remarkable to the point where people will comment on or, you know, create an opinion about what you've done?
Mm-hmm. Laura asked, "What's your advice to see results on Pinterest? I just started, and if I don't pay ads, it's hard to get traffic."
I get asked this a lot. I'm not a Pinterest expert. I built my Pinterest over a lot of time. I do get decent repins, but I don't know how I did it. I don't have a strategy for you. My recommendation would be to find a YouTube channel that is focused around Pinterest exclusively and try to work directly from there. If you guys want to find me on Pinterest, I think my Pinterest name is pinterest.com/artbystarlamore. Basically, what I did was I created a bunch of worlds within my Pinterest. I kind of described this a little bit in our Brand Planet webinar. We'll be doing another one in December, by the way, for those who want to do Brand Planet with us. It's a free masterclass. But basically, I create all of these little individual worlds where my keys would kind of fit in. I've got like Nature World and Autumn World and World of Dragons, and I think I've got one called like World of Dark Creatures. But basically, I create all of the atmosphere and the images that would support my world, and then I pin the keys that would kind of fit into those worlds. So you can check that out and see if anything really clicks with you. I don't think that the way that I've done my Pinterest account is something that many brands could replicate, though. I don't know if it would work for you, and I'm not so successful on Pinterest that I would say that it's made, a night and day difference for my business to begin with. Everyone who asks me to do a Friday Bean on Pinterest, I'm not going to give you guys content and talk out my butt on things that I don't know a lot about. And I have a lot of followers on Pinterest. I don't know how I did it. I don't have anything that you guys can replicate. Just feel free to look at my Pinterest account.
Vandal's Folk Art says, miss seeing Alpha's teaching tips and tricks. Do we plan on having more videos? It's hard to coordinate stuff like that.
Yeah, we're going to. Here's the problem, guys. The reason that we haven't been doing as much screen sharing stuff is YouTube changed everything.
It's a pain in the butt with our current setup.
Yeah, we've got like this external software that we have to use, and half the time it doesn't work. And Mark can't be on screen when we do them. That's why we've been doing less interviews and things. We do plan to do more. We just really need to figure out a better way to run our system, because right now
everybody uses different crap. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And it's like, to be the person that's hosting those kind of things, you have to have all of the different crap on your system, because one person likes using this, another person likes using this. Oh, have you used this? It's like, we just want to use what we use, and if people want to be on, we need other people to use what we use. So I'm not having to learn 500 different systems and how everything works differently. It's a pain in the butt, and I hate that YouTube did it. It's nice because the videos are higher quality now. We have the ability to live stream higher than 480p, which is frickin' wonderful. However, I would take low quality and be able to do interviews with no software, no drivers, nothing that could have incompatibilities, just a web page and a button over that. Yeah. Ellen asked, she just had her computer go down, like someone hit the off switch. Yeah, there's a lot of different things that could happen, but most likely it's an overheating problem. Or if you have a pet that could have like flipped a switch or knocked something off out of the wall, or just bumped something to where it kind of unplugged and plugged back in real quick, that kind of thing. But if none of the other stuff happened, then it's a good chance it was an overheating problem.
Make sure you're turning your computer off when you're not using it.
Or if you're not plugged into a surge protector, or your surge protector is a big fat lie, like 90% of them are, and the power surged, that could also shut your stuff off. Computers are sensitive. Lady Gardens and Eggplants. What?
Question. One thing to do when no sales are coming in. Market. That you asked for one thing. Watch my videos. My videos are a lot of things to do when no sales are coming in. You can also go down below and download my summer survival guide, because not a lot of people are getting sales right now. That's why I have an entire summer survival guide on slow summer sales seasons. Feel free to grab that. That's only going to be available until the end of August. And you guys asked us to please release the Black Friday survival guide early this year. This is going to be the biggest Black Friday that we've ever seen on Etsy, especially with the notices that Target and Walmart aren't going to be opening they're not going to be opening on Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
So
the way that things are going right now in the U.S., without getting political at all, things aren't getting better, they're continuing to get worse, there's a good chance nothing is going to be open on Black Friday.
So everyone's going to be shopping online, and even if things do open, people are still going to shop online because they're not going to feel safe going out. So we need to prepare. I want to make sure that you guys are prepared early. And Mark and I have even been debating on really teaching pre-Black Friday sales. Because if all the big box stores are doing Black Friday on Black Friday, might be beneficial for us little guys to get out there early and do pre-Black Friday instead.
Before people spend all their money.
Yeah. So
but no more hints. They'll get that when it's time.
Yeah, I want to keep them on their toes.
That's
so
fine.
But if you want the summer survival guide for this year, we'll probably reboot it next year, but make sure that you get that down below because this is your last chance to get it. We will be getting rid of it at the end of August and replacing it with Black Friday.
G. Morgan said you needed to have the Starla After Dark. It won't be Starla After Dark. It'll be Alpha's After Dark.
Yes.
And it'll probably be mostly me talking because I'm the dirty weirdo.
Yeah, he's the weirdo. But we do plan on doing it. It's, we've got so many alphas in the 18 plus category and we can't help them live. So we want to do...
Yeah, if there's any of you that are currently watching or are watching after the fact, hello in the future. Maybe comment down below. Don't say anything like dirty, but comment that you're part of that 18 plus. I want to see how many people we actually have that are in that like 18 plus community. It could be anything from like adult toys to just like inappropriate things that you make in your shop.
Like snarky
Like
quotes.
would it be legitimately worth our time to do something like that? Because if that's the case, we can do it, but those have to be private. Those can't be on the main channel because, again, like we talked about earlier, people get offended by everything.
Yeah.
You're a sweet marshmallow. No.
You are a marshmallow boy.
I'm not. And I've been working on not being a dang marshmallow
boy. He is lost. How much weight have you lost?
Just over 10 pounds. Today is actually the last day of 8 straight weeks of working out 5 days in a row. So... once a month, maybe. Yeah, it would probably be pretty rare. I don't think we actually had any more questions. What is tipping the velvet? I don't know what that is. I think she was asking somebody else.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
What interviews do you do? Oh, the Pope.
You can check out some of our alpha student interviews if you go
I know G. Morgan, I was just joking.
If you go back on my channel, you can find interviews with a lot of people. We do interviews with Anthony Wolf, we've done interviews with Paula Haas from Clean and Dirty, Amber Marie, Yelissa. We've got all of our big like alpha all-star students have their own interviews. Just check out my channel. Look at the thumbnails. If there's a face on there that isn't me and Mark, it's probably an alpha interview. So lots of good videos there.
YB Normal said I have more ideas for that. I'll email you. Yeah, feel free to maybe shoot us both an email. Send one to hers and then send mine to the support email. I'm 50 plus. Well, then you're super dirty then, right? Once a month, maybe.
For Alphas After Dark?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if we'll do them that frequently. Let's get through one first.
Yeah, let's get through one. Let's see how many people we're getting in there. Okay, this will probably be the last question because we're getting kind of dead on things. What should I recommend? Etsy ads, or what would we recommend? I'm assuming is what she meant. Etsy ads brings me sales, but it costs between $35 and $70 per click. So most of my profits are being consumed by ads. However, most of the people tend to be return customers.
Laura, make sure that you're only promoting your best sellers. Don't promote every single item in your shop, for one. And for two, Etsy ads have not been working very well as of recently. Even Anthony Wolf, CEO of eRank, has kind of speculated that Etsy ads are not doing very well right now, and his wife has turned her Etsy ads off. So It's one of those things where you have to decide for yourself if it's worth leaving them up or not. And
They
you
don't
say,
work for everybody.
and how many return customers do you have right now? Do you have enough customers that if you were to turn off your Etsy ads, that your business could still sustain itself? Do you have social media that you could use to drive your own traffic so you don't need to worry about Etsy ads? Is your SEO good enough that it's bringing in traffic to support your business without Etsy ads? Maybe try turning them off for a couple weeks and see how it does. But if it's burning into the point where you're not profitable, then there's no point in having them on to begin with. So that's what I would recommend.
Congrats on the 10-pound loss. Thank you very much.
When is Anthony going to be back? Anthony is so busy. So busy. He's been so insanely busy. I see him every week, but he's very, very busy right now because we're trying to work with new people and do new stuff, and we've got some new things coming. So, very busy. Let's see.
I'd be happy losing 10 pounds, but no one could tell. You'd be surprised how much 10 pounds looks different.
He was night and day.
I've lost 10 pounds, but I've also put on 5 or 6 pounds of lean muscle too, because I've lost about 6, maybe 7 inches off of my waist. I've put about a ½ inch on my arms and my legs. Like, I look drastically different. Even my face is smaller.
Yeah. Eventually he's going to get his Instagram going again. Everyone should go follow him and encourage him to start posting again.
I was going to post stuff in the Alpha group, but I wasn't thinking about it, and all of my progress pictures are in my undies, and I don't want you guys, like, swarming and falling in love with me, so I'm just kidding.
They'll all print. I'm sure they'll print your photos out.
Oh my god! Yeah, you guys wouldn't let that go.
Print your photos out. There's going to be one person out there that creates a Mark Love shrine with like candles. She sits and she like.
Leave this video a like if you got a Mark Love shrine.
Give it a like for a.
I'll be real concerned if it shoots up to like 100 likes out of nowhere. There are 176 people here and only 42 likes. I just watched 2 likes pop up, so that's cool.
Mark's Love Shrine. Everybody like for Mark's Love Shrine.
I'm going to start a business called Mark's Love Shrine.
What are you going to sell?
Abercrombie Mark. I don't know if that's ever going to be. What am I going to sell?
Yeah.
Well, they'll discuss that on Alphas After Dark.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know what that is.
It's Ginger. I trust her. Oh, they're underwear.
You hit hide.
Oh, sorry, Ginger.
No undies pics, please.
Oh, that's great.
YB Normal said no undies pics, please.
Oh, we think that we've seen far worse even in your reviews. What's the email? It's Starla at handmadealphaacademy.com.
Yes. Too
All
late.
right.
That's my Etsy shop name.
All right. Mark's Love Shrine eggplant. God, what has happened?
What have we done?
What have we done?
What have we done? Just be warned, if we do send an email out or create an email list for the Alphas After Dark thing, if you join that, like, there will be bad language. We will probably be showing off adult products.
Yeah, because we need to be able to go through.
Yeah, there will probably be some sort of nudity screen shared at some point. It will pop up whether intentional or not. So just be aware it's not going to be safe for work or safe for kids.
Yeah, we'll do it at nighttime. And, like, I mean, we really are going to try to help, like, our adult industry alphas, even if it's just bad words. But we're going to be a little bit looser on that stream, too, because you can't, I mean, you know.
What's his IG? At BigMark91, I think.
It's big_Mark M. Mark with a C.
I still got a bunch of old pictures on there from when I used to not be a chubby boy.
Last photo was posted December 14th, 2016. So...
No, I deleted photos that were posted after that.
No, they're still on there.
No, I deleted photos that were posted after that one.
Oh, okay.
Because they were stupid.
So, look for it. You can pretty much tell it's him making his goofy face, and then there's...
It's not BigMark91?
No, it's big_Mark M.
Okay.
Big_Mark M. And
what? Surprise, it's... Oh. Come on now.
All right, guys.
I do love those.
Thank you for... You're a guy. Of course you do.
That doesn't mean anything.
Oh, no. Maybe we shouldn't have said that then.
Oh, no.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Everyone have a great weekend. Like I had said at the beginning of the stream, if for any reason we have a random week where we are not here, it will be due to grandma emergency. So just if you're following me on Instagram, I'll make sure to keep you guys posted there. But anyway, guys, have an amazing weekend, and we will see you hopefully this upcoming Friday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.